Warning, this podcast may contain graphic violence, sexual themes, and bad language. If our language offends you, we apologize, but we do not give a fuck. Be mindful of your kids listening.
The Evil Never Dies podcast.
Welcome back to the Evil Never Dies podcast, episode 271, season 3 finale show.
Yes, it is. This is the season finale of season 3. We won't be back until after Texas Hunters Convention when we will start season 4 with a new theme song, I might add, finally.
Woo! Are we recording it?
We are recording. You want to do our theme song?
Sure.
Go for it. We need it.
Yeah, we would love to.
So tonight we have very special guests with us on the show from the band ASKA.
Woo!
First, we have lead singer George Cole.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, George? Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, man. It's my pleasure. I'm sitting here with Scott Clute, who is ASKA's agent of many years.
Banshee. On and on.
Vicious Rumors.
Former member of Omen.
He's Mobile Death.
War Beast.
Do you remember
He's the
War Beast, yeah.
Yep.
I remember War Beast.
It's just died,
But yeah, so he's our booking guy, and I'm actually over here.
and I was a bass player for Omen at the same time George was in Omen.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was when
Well-
Omen was actually doing stuff.
Well,
No offense to Omen, but I'm not a big fan of Kenny, so screw him. I don't care.
He sold his house. He lives 3 doors down from me.
that way.
Really?
Yeah.
3 doors down. That's how I met him. That's how I got the gig. And now he's sold the home, and I think he's going to move to Corpus.
Is it?
Down in that area, because that's where her daughter, his
Uh,
wife's daughter, lives down there in the Galveston area.
wow.
I think the drummer lives in Houston too.
Drummer
Hey.
lives in Houston.
And let's introduce drummer Danny White, since Danny jumped in there. Welcome,
Hey.
Danny, to the Evil Never Dies podcast.
Hello.
Hi, Danny.
Hey, Danny!
And next we got the new guy.
Eric.
Yes, sir.
Introduce yourself, new guy.
Yeah, Eric.
Hey, this is Eric Halpern. I'm down here in Houston, Texas. Glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Thanks for coming on.
Glad to have you on the show and glad to have you in ASKA as well.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I've been around these guys so long, it's like a big family.
He's done 2 shows with us so far and done brilliantly.
The one I saw was perfect. Yes.
Yep.
He came in perfect.
Yes, definitely.
Eric, he's very well pedigreed. He's got a long line of bands, feathers in his cap.
Definitely.
We
John
got a hell-
Perez was bragging on him last week when I was at the record store. So that's good praise when it's coming from John.
That's high praise.
Yep. From Solitude. Yeah. When John says you're good, you're good.
There you go. Which John? You talking about John Perez?
Yeah. From Solitude.
Oh yeah. John's a great guy. Man, I'll tell you, Eric's been around a long time. We in ASKA were friends and fans of his band before we played together years ago. He was in Z-Lot Z. And we played with them here. We played with him there in Houston. And he's a great player and a great addition to the band.
Definitely.
Eric, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, we're very happy to have him.
Get done.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're here Scott's been testing out this light system here that we might get ASKA to use.
Flash.
Let's see if we can. Let me see if I can.
We get a sneak preview for the show here. Huh?
Yeah, it's
But we won't be using
it's still light, so
Can you see that?
you're not going to be able to see squat.
Some lighting trusses and some rods and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I see it over there. Yeah.
Yep.
Kind of hard to see, but there it is.
That's going to be a part of my Metal Thunder entertainment.
Yay.
There you go.
Like it.
Go look it up.
Metal Thunder.
Metal Thunder Entertainment. Everybody
might have
check
to
it
do
out.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, we will.
Jay Gilligan's, we might have to break out the geysers again.
There we go.
Think we might break out the geysers. It's like smoke calm things we have.
Yeah,
The geysers.
there'll definitely be smoke fog machines going on.
Well, we just got to get Alan not to operate them. He's our head roadie. He had one show. He got a little overzealous. He had the whole club just completely look like London.
That's why we call him Taz.
You say you want to break out the guys, servants.
Yeah,
Oh
Let's
no, the
break
guy
out
servants.
bring on the geyser.
And Eric's doing a shameless plug there on his background.
Yeah, I've
for
just
the
got.
show.
Yeah, I got the flyer here for the next show.
There you go.
That will be
Guys,
2 weeks from. It'll be 2 weeks from the time you hear this show on the 20th of July. Jay Gilligan's in Arlington, Texas. So come check it out if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or if you're anywhere in Texas, just drive your ass out here and come see ASKA.
Hey, check this out. I'll show you something. Now, I know that the Evil Never Dies podcast started. You guys started as a horror themed show, right?
We do
Horror and
horror
heavy
movies,
metal.
and we'll also do heavy metal album reviews too.
Right. You guys, but you started as a horror thing, right?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
I was brought in to be the heavy metal expert, and I become the horror movie expert. So go figure that out.
Well, this is my bedroom that you're going to start looking at.
All right. So Carl, you were brought as the heavy metal guy, and Brent, I'm sure you're the horror guy. But here, Scott, it happens to be a big horror guy himself. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Do you have a light that we can turn on in here?
We can see okay.
I see characters.
Yeah, I see characters too.
He is a huge Evil Dead and Walking
Okay,
Dead.
that's awesome.
Oh man.
Look, he has an entire 6-scale Walking Dead figures collection. There's
Carl.
There's Rick. Here's Michonne with her zombies.
Oh,
You know?
wow. Yeah, I remember when she first came on, she had those zombies on a chain.
Yes, exactly. There they are.
Yeah. That's badass. I love it.
Here's Glenn and Riot Gear, custom Riot Gear.
Yeah, custom Glenn.
There's the governor.
The governor.
There's I think that's Daryl, right?
That's Daryl, yeah.
Yeah, I laid his crossbow down and put
Gave
the
him a
rocket
RPG.
launcher on because two of the most iconic scenes that he was ever in was when he shot off the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
blew up all the motorcyclists that were part of the Saviors, and then he came in just in time to blow up all of the zombies. He shot. He had a tanker, gasoline tanker, and he filled up that pond that was inside Alexandria, and then he shot the rocket launcher into it, and then it's like the whole thing caught on fire, and all the zombies are going.
So anyway, here's Marl, Glenn,
Abraham.
I forgot about Abraham, actually.
Yeah.
That's a custom.
Well, it looks like you got a couple of grand in just Walking Dead figures there. I have never even seen none of them before.
A lot of them
That
are
is-
custom, they said.
Them are awesome. Oh, he's a
Oh, yeah.
Funko Pop freak like I am.
Yeah.
You might want to bring Scott up for his own interview.
We might have to do that,
Yeah,
Scott.
we
I'll
might,
get a
for
hold of
sure.
you. I think
sure.
I'm friends with you on Facebook. We'll get a hold of you. We'll just do a horror interview. Show off all your memorabilia. That would be cool.
Look at, yeah. Because he's got so, I mean, all Walking Dead, the Lovers, the
Evil Dead, Army of Darkness.
yeah. I mean, so I don't want to get sidetracked. There's what was his name, Morgan?
Morgan
Big
from Fear the Walking Dead. That's another custom.
adult. Now this is the one I like right here. What's her name?
Maggie.
Maggie.
Maggie, yeah.
Maggie's hot.
Man, they look like real people.
They do, don't they?
So hot.
So yeah, as you can see, he's a serious horror. So you can Carl.
Hey,
you
you're
can,
still here?
Hey, look what it is. It's Don LaPena.
What's up?
Fabulous
What's
Freak
up?
Brothers. And actually, Fabulous Freak Brothers are playing the night before ASKA on the 19th at Lee Harvey's in Dallas.
Yeah.
So you got anything
the back
Don?
gigs?
I'm good, man. What's up?
She is.
So, yeah.
Anyway, so so Scott, they're gonna call you. They're gonna get in touch with you for your own interview.
Yeah, I got you on Facebook, Scott. I'll get with you.
Yeah, you can go to either Facebook, or you can go to Metal Thunder Entertainment.
Okay. We'll do it.
Yeah, and he'll believe me. He will regale you with stories. Look at, he's also got this. Oh yeah, hold on. I'm gonna show him your Jason and the Argonauts.
The stuff I'm proud
Look
of.
at his Jason
wow.
and the Argonauts. He's got all the skeletons.
Oh man.
Jason.
I got the priestess. I got the guy that built the Argo with the golden fleece.
The Golden Fleece. That's an Omen song. And he's got these little artworks of all the walking. But if we show all your stuff now, Scott, then when you have your own show, then you won't have anything to see.
Oh, I'm sure he's got more.
My
It's all
problem is
recording.
when I buy stuff, I can't keep it out of the box. I have to open them up.
Evil in the other room.
Yeah. He's got Resident Evil in the other room. So
Anything zombie.
he loves zombies, which I'm sure you guys probably do too, right?
We do indeed.
Yes, we do.
Now, let me ask you something. Who can tell me the name of the track that ASKA did about zombies long before the Walking Dead craze and all that stuff?
Carl,
I'll tell you the album.
tell
It's
me
on
the album.
on Avenger.
I know.
I know you know. No, you know.
I probably know, but I don't know right offhand. I can grab Avenger. It's right here, actually.
Look at it. Look at Avenger. You tell
There's
me.
Avenger right there.
What's the track?
I've
man?
got 5 copies of Avenger.
Fantastic. That is.
Are they all CD or some vinyl?
I think I do have it on vinyl, actually.
Awesome.
I got a vinyl.
So looking at the track listing,
Eternal Night.
Nope.
that's it. Very good. Exactly. It's right. And it was now look at the year that album came out in 2000. The Walking Dead stuff
certainly
came out far later, and it was all about a guy battling these zombie hordes, saving the girl, and he gets infected during the battle, and the girl he saves says, "Oh my God, you risked your life to save me, and you're infected." And he looks down and he goes, "I know, but it didn't matter. He wanted to save her." So he
Yeah.
put his own life at risk and at jeopardy to save the girl.
Did
Wonderful.
she blow his brains out?
Now, the song ended before we got there.
The song ends before it gets that far. But I think it's great, the whole concept of chivalry, even when it's life or death, in an apocalyptic, in a post-apocalyptic zombie world. This guy just
I
said,
tried to get ASKA on that show.
"Which
Play a
Walking
song,
Dead."
The Walking Dead. And it's like they only had these weird songs that were like, I can't even describe
That
them.
weird.
Metal.
That's weird because Nicotero, he's a big metalhead.
Oh, you see, he should have used our music.
See, we need to use your music because we need a good theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could
I'm
write
looking
you.
at all these copies of Avenger I got. I've got this copy, and I got the original copy. I got like, I don't
Let
know how
me
many
borrow
copies.
one of them, Carl.
No, man, they're probably valuable. I think this might be the most valuable CD there is right here, the original.
That one, that one is 100%. That's
If I would have known back then, I would have bought like 100 copies of this thing and held on to them all these years.
Yeah, Danny said they were going for $1,000.
They always do.
1,000. Jesus Christ. The first.
They're expensive.
I don't think
one time it was over $1,000 on eBay.
Was it dollars or euro?
No, dollars.
Wow. I've seen it as I personally have seen it for like 600
So madly
and stuff like that. But you know, it's kind of, you know, I mean, it's amazing what some people will pay for rare music.
It
and that's
is.
the point of music. You know, music moves us, right? It's
And
the
this
thing
is
that-
when I remember y'all first, when y'all was wearing the camo too. That's when I first encountered you guys. Y'all were all camoed out, and I thought that was cool as shit.
Not just rare music, good rare music.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I think it's also sometimes even if the music is not so great, because I think that first album is not it's our weakest album in our catalog. We didn't have the Van Halen effect where the first album was great.
Was kicking
yeah. I mean, we started out pretty rough, you know.
Yeah, the reason they were camo was because they were scared they were going to get killed.
I'm sure, yeah.
But you know, truly, it wasn't our best. But what happens is the band later became really good, and now people want to pick up those early records after the fact, retroactively.
Whereas I have them all now, you know, from back then.
Yeah, right. You were an early adopter.
I was.
Just like the old Pantera records, people want the old ones now.
Well, yeah, they tried to bury those, but they didn't do a very good job. Actually, I have a cassette version of I Am the Night sitting over here in a stack. Cassette.
I've got that.
Yeah. So that was actually an original. It wasn't one of the redones. You know, they've got a bunch of the bootlegs on CD.
I had an album of Projects in the Jungle.
They even noticed.
Yeah. Project. Yeah. Did you sell it, Danny?
I sold it.
Oh wow!
It was Dime's copy that he had signed over to Dean Zielinski from Dean Guitars, and so I contacted one of those autograph people, and they offered me $1,000 for it, so I sold it.
I would have took that definitely.
The fruition.
But the first album definitely has some good tracks. Delta Force I've always loved, and Could You Do This to Me is still an excellent song. Much better than the remake that came years later, but that's just my opinion. I like that.
I'm glad you like it.
Early stuff was The Graduation.
It was. And we graduated too, right here, Immortal.
Yeah, no, I actually like that album a lot. I like
Immortal is really good. And this one I think y'all really probably should put back into print. Maybe not the first album, but Immortal should come out. There is some good shit on Immortal.
Really is. I agree. Immortal, you know, we went for a real Rick Rubin style production on that. And I think we achieved it. And it's just the band improved by leaps and bounds. And also, I think we learned from maybe the mistakes of the first album, what not to do on the second album. And it came out leagues better than that first.
It definitely did.
Well, when you toured for 3 months at a time, you can't help but get better.
You can't help it. That's true. And we did. We started touring right after the first album. You know, in '92, we went on our first overseas tour. And prior to that, we've been playing everywhere and anywhere they would have us. We were playing. But immediately in '92, we started going out internationally, and it changed things.
So are all their interviews over the phone, or are they
podcast?
It's podcast.
Podcast and YouTube. We have a YouTube show, which is actually starting to pick up steam now.
Yes, all your pretty faces will be on YouTube.
Yes, they will.
But I mean, you won't have people in a studio to talk to.
No, you get your own home.
All right, so
you sit right here and you can talk to them.
All this stuff.
You can sit here naked.
All this stuff I want to give you.
Naked, yeah.
Hey, I ain't got pants on, so
We have an R-rated show, so yeah, we're not child friendly, even though I have the grandkids on the show all the time.
My hand full view.
Full view.
Yeah.
He has gifts for you guys if you were meeting in person.
Whoa.
Oh man.
Look at this.
He's got gifts for you.
This is what they call an herb grinder.
Ooh, is a personalized herb grinder?
It's more for metalheads.
Hey, I need one of them.
But you know what? If I don't ever see you guys in person, I guess, you know.
You'll see him in person
You'll
at the
be
show.
shit out of luck.
You'll see him in person at the show on the 20th.
Which show?
The ASKA show.
ASKA?
ASKA.
He's
ASKA is here.
So
So yeah, the album. Since we're going over the albums, album 2, Immortal, is definitely got some kicking ass songs on it.
Mm-hmm. It
I'm
really
still,
does.
you know, I can't help it, but I still like the damn song "How Long," even though it's poppy.
I can tell you the story of that song. I wrote that when I first came to the United States, and I went to El Paso to start a band with a guy that had played drums with me in Panama, in my band in Panama. His name was Robbie Nelson.
Okay.
And,
Not the Nelson Brothers.
no, not the Nelson, not the famous Nelson Brothers. You know, I can't live without your love and affection. Not those.
Oh,
guys.
those guys, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I wrote that song for you.
No. but how long? Rob and I wrote that together, and it was actually the first time I ever stepped into a recording studio was with this guy that Rob and I had joined his band that he's played together, and I joined him as a bass player, and he had 3 or 4 songs that he needed to that he was going to record, and then he goes, I need one more song. So we said, well, we've got this song we wrote called How Long? And we presented it to him, and he goes, yeah, that'll be great. So my first time in the studio was as a bass player, playing bass on the song that Rob and I had written called How Long? And then it resurfaced years later as an
Immortal.
on the Immortal. It was actually it was also made an appearance on our first demo. When ASKA demo, it was a 3-4 song demo, and How Long was on it. That's why when we re-recorded it for Immortal, we called it How Long 94.
94. I always wondered that. I never asked you that. I was like, okay, that's weird. Makes sense
and
now.
It was a take on, how Kiss did Strutter 78.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Because in 73 they had recorded Strutter on their first album, then revisited it for the double platinum release. Well, and that was kind of like, that was my thinking. We had done How Long on our demo, and now revisiting it for the Immortal album. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, How Long was the bonus track. No. Or How Long was on the CD version of the album. And then number 5 that we talked about earlier before we started recording the show,
Yes.
number 5 was the bonus track on the cassette version.
Okay, that's cool.
So, yeah, if you wanted all the songs, you had to get the cassette version and the CD version.
Good marketing right there.
And we had the cassette was available in 2 different colors, red and blue. We were
Beatles.
Yeah, we were doing it. Yes, we were doing our own taste of early, Iron Maiden style guerrilla marketing.
Yeah, I see. I'm hearing it. I now see this as How Long 94 CD bonus track number 5 available cassette only. So yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
there you
freaking
go.
cool.
Well, if you want it, there's some little useless trivia that you didn't know, and that many people, unless they have the record, most people don't know that either.
Or
And-
around back in these days.
Yeah, but if somebody's hearing that now for the first time, going, "Oh shit, I only bought the cassette version," or
That's
I
what
only
I'm
bought.
thinking. I didn't buy the cassette, so I'm screwed.
Oh no, Keith recently found a little stash that we moved to his house, he recently found a little treasure trove of cassettes that he had. So it wasn't very many, and they may be gone already, but he found a few, and they were on the merch table at the last show or two.
They were.
Yeah.
I didn't see those.
I didn't see them either.
They were there. They might have sold already.
They might have sold.
There's a great place that's in Tennessee called South Tree.
Oh, dude.
You're going to get Brett all happy now.
You're sexy, man. Shit.
Well, no, I'm not done.
This is getting R-rated.
Yeah.
It's even better.
Just know. Oh no.
You done one Brett over, dude.
Go.
Shit. I love crazy fuckers like you.
I also got a bonus here to change the subject back. This is actually some outtakes from a show y'all did at, I forget what club. It might be maybe it was The Rock, somewhere in Deep Ellum, that Bob had recorded. And
yeah. Well, that was at the Welcome Home Asian Invasion Tour.
Down in Deep Ellum?
Yeah, I think that was like in '96, if I'm not mistaken.
I played The Rock with China Blue. We opened up for, what were they called?
Nobody cares. We opened up. Hey, but listen, you know what? That show.
Firehouse was the name of the band.
You opened for
we
Firehouse?
opened up for Firehouse.
So did we. ASKA open up for Firehouse.
I remember you opening for Firehouse.
You remember that? Yeah, and didn't somebody just died in that band recently?
The singer, CJ Snare, passed away. But apparently he was not in Firehouse at the time of his death, which is sort of weird.
Really?
I did not know the original bass player. The original bass player for Firehouse is now the bass player for Striper.
Yes, he's in Striper.
Yeah, he's playing with Striper.
They've had Timothy Gaines. They've had issues with that guy for a long time, so they finally got rid of him and brought in the Firehouse bassist.
I heard rumors that Timothy never actually played on an album.
I don't think he did. Yeah, I think that's been pretty much confirmed. He didn't play on the albums.
Yeah, the manager for the band you just mentioned, Striper, hitting on George big time.
Yeah.
He wanted to bang him big time.
He wasn't gay.
You were telling me that you thought this guy must be gay.
No.
I never Striper's manager?
It was their old manager, gentleman by the name of Dan. I don't think he was gay at all. I think he was just a really cool guy. He we played his venue
as Banshee.
With Banshee.
He wasn't gay. He wasn't gay. His boyfriend was.
There you go.
He wasn't
a gay boyfriend.
Great guy. And even if he was gay, he was a fantastic dude. I really have a lot of respect for David Rose. He, when I found out he was Striper's manager, I told him what a fan I was of the band, and I'd been for years. And in the early days, they used to send me newsletters and whatnot. And he goes, "Oh, really? Well, send me your address, and I'll get you a couple T-shirts." And I'm like, "He's not going to send it." Sure enough,
did.
Yeah, within after the tour was over, a month, 2 months later, boom, I had a couple of Striper shirts in the mail from the guy, and he always kept in touch. He was always very cool. And but I don't think it had any sexual overtones at all.
Yeah,
that's all Scott.
That's not the way you presented it to me.
No, I think Scott is putting these things in his head, and you saw him laying on the bed earlier.
Yeah, getting Brett all worked up.
No,
Brett, look at that. Look at that, Brett.
Just don't get us kicked off fucking YouTube. That's all I ask.
Yeah, talking about kicked off. Me and Bob and Rachel and George got everybody kicked out of Jay Gilligan's for 10 years?
A long time, yeah.
We just got back.
Yeah, just finally got back to Jay Gilligan's after a long break.
Danny can tell that story. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, Danny, let us know that story because I was semi-involved in it. I always took no credit, but I was agitating things.
It all stems from a really nasty band member girlfriend.
No, that's not why we got kicked out. We got kicked out because of Bob's sex show on
Sex
stage.
show that me and George encouraged highly, actually.
That was the final straw, but he was already upset.
Y'all were already in trouble. I think I remember that, Danny.
The cop issue.
Yeah, because of Daryl, our former guitar player, Daryl Norton, had a girlfriend that, you know, hated him being in the band and hated him doing shows and hated him getting attention from. I remember choking out another girl at the venue, you know, going up to her, "Are you looking at my man?" You know, strangling this girl.
She choked her in the bathroom, and then she wound up throat punching Daryl, our guitar player.
A whole different girl. She just had a propensity for doing these things. And
she had an anger management problem.
She had an anger management problem.
Definitely. Yeah, I remember that chick.
Yeah, we won't talk about her anymore because there's no sense in giving her any play.
No,
we didn't
let's
mention
not.
any names.
Yeah, but she's, you know, he left. I think he left everything having to do with, you know, all the problems she was causing him. It's a shame. We lost a brother over it, and then they went on and subsequently got married and stuff. But what are you gonna do, man? That's rock and roll, right?
I miss Daryl to this day, but you know, he chose his life, so.
And you know, he was with us a solid 10 years. I've got nothing bad to say about the guy.
Me either. I love Daryl still to this day.
Yeah, so.
And no, he's not the one that become a preacher. That would be Darren. Everybody confused Darren and Daryl over the years.
Yeah,
I've only met Darren one time.
That's it?
Yeah.
Damon's your brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you imagine we had a Damon, a Daryl, a Darren?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of DAs in there, a lot of DAs in the house.
I remember, for whatever reason, I just remember Darren just really vividly. He had a presence to him back then. I would have never have thought he would end up being a preacher or whatever, the missionary or whatever the hell he is.
Yeah, he became a preacher there for a while. Now I think he's a telecom salesman.
Okay.
But
what a huge leap.
Well, I remember he had a song called Jesus Christ is Lord that was on, I think, Apple Music or iTunes for a while.
Yeah, it's called my Jesus, my Lord, my friend.
Yes.
You know,
who's that? Who is that?
Is that Darren right there?
Paul McCartney. Yeah. Well, listen, Darren, he actually.
Who's that?
He was see that shit.
Who's that?
John Lennon. Yeah, he got them all. He's got them all.
Okay, George, let's hear your Yoko Ono impression.
Oh my God! I think Scott's taking over this interview, man.
Right? We're gonna have to definitely have Scott on the show. You're booked, dude. You're booked.
Hit me up, man.
He says I hit him up.
I've got a lot of stories to tell
I know you do.
He's got a lot of stories, that's for sure. Omen stories. He's got so many stories he can tell you. But let me tell him about Darren real quick.
Tell us about Darren. Everybody wants to know about Darren.
Yeah, Darren, you know, he co-founded.
And here for YouTube. Let's see if we can get a picture. There's Darren right there.
Yeah, he was a very, very handsome and charismatic dude.
Darren?
We do got a picture of Darren. You want to look at it, Scott? There you go.
But he you know, he just he decided that, you know, he came to a point in his life he had found God.
Dan always said that he played a role in it, that it had to do with a job more than God.
I don't think so, because
I don't think so either. I think Dan's just making up shit.
Well, I think Dan feels responsible because
he does. I think he feels guilty is more the word.
Yeah, because he got Darren a decent job.
Yeah.
But Darren had always worked jobs and had always been in the band. But I think it was a combination of things. One of which was, you know, he was going through his personal life at the time, a divorce, you know, and he had a new job at the time where he met, his new wife, his second wife, and then I think that also the fact that she took him to church and cleaned him up, quote unquote, and he became a born again Christian, because at that point, when we were writing the songs that were to be on Absolute Power, Darren started bringing on in these songs that were all very, they could have been on a Striper record,
Yeah.
In other words, they were Christian in nature. They were songs like the Cross of Light and things like that. Just these songs that were these inspirational type songs. Very Christian in nature, and without being overtly so, but it was Christian. It was to the degree that we certainly could tell.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, Dick, that's not very cool. I mean, it's great, but it's not for us. I mean, that'd be great for Striper or for Resband or Petra, but not so much for us. So we would take those songs that he would come in with, Cross of Light, and call them, change them. And I've changed the lyric content and call it Queen of Goths and things like that,
Just
things
yeah.
keeping and more in line with the kind of the songs we wanted to tell, the stories we wanted to tell. And he didn't like it. He wanted to. I think he was ready to make the bigger change in his life.
I always thought Darren was always more pushing the lighter side of ASKA too, when he was in the band. The more I would dare say the glammier songs.
He said not so much glammy, but more the commercial, the more commercial songs.
Pop. Yeah, more pop metal. That's what I would call it. I just call everything glam these days, but you know what I mean, more poppy.
Absolutely, he was more on the pop side, and he was, I think that was his emphasis in the band, and it was something that we were moving away towards. Something that Keith and I had made a conscious decision to move away from, and that he was. That's
funny, because that's what sort of turned me away from ASKA was that side a little bit, because I was getting more into thrash metal and shit like that. So when y'all started turning back into being a heavier band, that's what drew me back into the fold, actually.
Right. Yeah. A lot of I think and it's a reputation we kept for a long time with us, because DFW is not known for its pop bands. It was more, everybody was, especially at that time, everybody wanted to be and was trying to sound like and join the Pantera bandwagon, where everybody was pushing in that direction, the bands, real heavy and real, now real, kind of.
I remember those times.
Metalish. And we were just kind of, doing, the traditional style stuff, but we'd always told ourselves that we would approach metal in any style that we felt moved to, because we had three guys in the band that were singing.
You did. That's another thing I was going to bring up. ASKA did not have a lead singer. Y'all had three lead singers in those days.
Exactly.
Very Kiss-like.
Third one. Keith, and Darren were all singing in the band. But we had three guys singing, and so it wasn't unusual for us on an album to one song sounded like Dawkins, and the next song sounded like Accept.
And this takes me to Nine Tongues, y'all's next release, and this is a perfect example of what you're talking about.
Exactly. And
the Stalker is just like fucking thrash metal, and then there's Little Sister. So
right, yeah, like an early Kiss rock and roll pop.
Yeah.
You're talking about Trinity RB. Dance, little sister. Dun, 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 dun.
I think ASKA's always been known for the variations on their albums.
Agreed, Danny, definitely.
Sure. But you know what? It was at that time during Nine Tongues where we had our grand awakening, so to speak, because and it's where the push came to shove because we just lost Scott.
Oh no, he's gone.
He went out
on
there.
the floor.
But we kind of took a turn. That was our moment that I think changed the band and shifted it in the direction that it's in now.
I definitely agree.
All the reviews that were coming in for the album, our local, crowd was bigger than ever. I mean, it was, we had massive crowds that would follow us everywhere we would go. But on the scene, on the international scene and stuff, the reviews that were coming in for that record said, man, these guys, what are they? We just can't pigeonhole them. We don't know if they're this kind of music or this kind of music, because we were so all over the place musically, and
and want to eat dinner, or you just want to eat dessert? Because we got
I want dinner, man.
Cake.
I want dinner.
Okay,
I'm gonna eat dinner. But
I always thought Kill Chandra was the song that really put y'all into the direction y'all needed to go. I still love that. That's probably my favorite ASKA song, actually.
You know what? Ask Eric about Kill, because when Eric, around the time he was joining the band, he said something about Kill Chandra, which I found to be a very high compliment.
Eric, we haven't heard from you. Tell us the Kill Chandra story.
Yeah, I thought that song was had a very kind of radio friendly mass appeal, that if it would have been, I forget my exact words at the time, but if it would have been on the radio or on the right label at the time, the band would be millionaires, because they would have had some big major hit song that would have put them out there with, big bands. It was real catchy, I thought. And so, yeah, I think that's what I said, something like that. And we take it now, we do something, add a little Queensryche kind of flavor to it, and pretty it up and do some progressive stuff with it, because it's got a real open sound.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I like playing that song live. Yeah.
Yeah, Kill Chandra is great. And it's got the catchy, but it's definitely a good metal song, hard rock metal song. So,
it's interesting. So many people have liked that song over the years, from the promoter, our good friend, Volker, the promoter for Sword Brothers Festival in Germany. He always said, George, Kill Chandra is my favorite song for you have written. And please play the song, I'm amazed that people from, all walks of life that are metalheads really seem to gravitate towards that.
And then the one guy in Germany that seems to have issues with you.
We won't even talk about that.
That song stays current.
It does stay current. It definitely does.
I watched the video of us playing Kill Chandra at Store Brothers last night.
But you're right, Danny. That song always seems to stay current.
I watched the whole set. It just popped up on YouTube. It was ASKA at Sword Brothers, and I watched it, and it's got like 8 songs of us playing at Sword Brothers in Germany. This was from 2009. It was 2009. It was awesome. It actually sounded good.
Danny watches that. He watched that between bouts of his porn.
Porn tube.
Porn tube.
I'm an investor. $1 a video.
I think they banned most of the pornography from Texas.
I saw that.
Our Attorney General, Ken Paxton, banned everything.
You know what?
You can still get X videos.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
You can get. Listen, just like drugs are illegal, you can still get drugs.
You can still get porn.
I feel you, Danny.
You can still
not.
Yeah, he feels you.
Yeah, no.
Brad wants to feel on Scott over there more than anybody, though.
You know what, though?
What did you say about me?
It's something about feeling on Scott.
Yeah.
But
Well, he stood up quick, didn't he?
You almost made me choke on that one.
Better on that than something else.
Right?
I had to get my clothes back off.
Man, you're gonna ruin my reputation here, man. I'm known as a ladies' man in DFW.
You
And
certainly are, George.
God is pulling down his drawers, laying suggestively on the bed. You know?
Now you're gonna the whole new side of George Call right here on the Evil Never Dies podcast.
Come on, George. We know it's making you moist.
Oh, looky there.
This is my
Danny got a.
This is our agent. This is the guy that books our shows. Somebody has to take one for the team, right? Somebody's got to give it.
Oh no, I never took one for the team. Fuck you, George.
You gave one. You gave one for it though.
Yeah, I gave one for the team.
I've even got the 6 Tongues EP. That's how much of the shit I got. Everything I've ever done, I guess.
You know what, Paul? You
Except
are the
for
real
cassettes. I don't got no cassettes.
You are the real
6 Tongues.
I don't have one.
You know what? Yeah, you do, Danny.
No, I don't have the 6 Tongues.
I got one.
I do have that compilation that we did though.
I've got that. It's right there, I think. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the one. I got that.
Oh, Electric Basement, yeah. We were on quite a number of compilations.
You know that?
I think this has a different version of Freedom it was actually on the album.
Me playing it. Jason played it on the album, but
that's right. You played this one.
Yeah, that's actually got Danny's version. You know, and Danny, he appears on the Absolute Power album, playing on
Her Ghost.
Names, right?
One song.
We are going to be doing that as well in the near future.
Well,
Future.
Who played on the other song?
Hey, Jason, didn't he?
Yeah.
He played on the when Jason joined, he did Avenger and Absolute Power, but we like Danny's version of Her Ghost Remains better, so we kept Danny's.
Danny
version.
is on the Her Ghost. I remember that.
Yeah, he plays on Her Ghost, so we kept his version on the album, and then on that electricbasement.com, there's Danny's version of Freedom on that record.
I actually prefer that version of Freedom. It's more it's not as produced. It's very raw, and I just thought it fit better.
You know what's really kind of funny is whenever I joined ASKA, I had to learn all of Jason's parts for the songs that we played.
Yeah.
But then whenever Jason came back and did Absolute Power, he had to learn all my parts.
He did, yeah.
So he did his own thing, but
and then we brought Danny back, and Danny's been there ever since. He keeps trying to escape, but we won't let him. We've got him chained at the ankle.
I remember somebody was not very happy when Danny left and Jason came back, but I won't name any names.
Who was that?
It was me. Remember, I wasn't very happy with that.
Me.
It was Danny.
I was not happy because I thought Danny fit the band. I mean, I love Jason's work. He did a phenomenal job on Avenger, but I just thought Danny fit the band at the time so much better.
He was always really nice to me, to my face.
Yeah.
Well, Jason was a great guy. We love him.
Jason's a good dude. Yeah, I'm still in contact with Jason actually to this day.
Yeah, we're all still friends with him. He's on all our Facebooks, which is more than we can say for some other.
We won't mention that guy.
Yeah, but you know,
we won't even get into him. The way I look at it, he needs to be erased. But Jason, Jason's good people. Well, I just thought Danny fit the band better, and that's just my opinion. And I saw plenty more ASKA shows during that time frame than anybody.
We get along.
Yeah. No, it was the one before that. But you know,
and let's give some love to your brother Damon, the original drummer too.
Yeah, my brother's the original drummer, and he still comes out to shows. And whenever he's out there, we invite him up for a walk on because we're happy that he comes. You know,
exactly.
I'm always happy when Jason comes up, Damon comes up and plays.
Yeah, you know, former members that have come and seen the band after they've left the band. Daryl, he's come out a time or two. Damon comes out; he's come out a lot. When Keith left there for a little while, and between when he left and came back, he always came out and played.
That was the worst of times when Keith was out of the band for me.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
I wasn't a fan of I'm not even going to say his name.
Dave was a good guy, but
I'm
you know,
not a fan
but
of
Dave,
his.
Dave is still a really good friend of the band.
I know, but
He
he
fit a
was
he
talking
fit
shit
a
about Lisa. So yeah,
he filled in because Keith's playing is really difficult on bass.
oh, I know. Nobody can replace Keith's bass.
And Dave
That
came
that
in and
just Keith is really, yeah, that's hard to do. And he
Dave
did
came
do
in
it.
and
He did a good
really
job with it.
came in and he was able to play the stuff and so that was Dave really helped us out.
yeah, so yeah, we've got nothing but praise for Dave and good words for him, and we wish him the best with Millennial Reign, which is a
Definitely.
Christian band. They're a Christian band signed to a Christian label, and you know, every time Striper, Petra, any Christian band comes to town,
I think
you'll
they open, yeah.
oh yeah. So you know, but of course, you know, Keith was the original member. He's been on every album we've played, including the new one. So it was, I mean, clearly,
Keith needed a break when he left, though.
yeah.
He
And,
did. He
and
needed the break from it.
yeah, and when he came back, it was, you know, it was like,
It was like
okay,
he
now,
never left.
yeah, it was like, okay, now you're back. Let's get the album done, you know. And we did, and we're very happy about that.
Surprisingly, we actually did it pretty quick. I mean, it really, I'm still
That was the
surprised.
quickest y'all ever got an album done, I think.
Well,
Once y'all
it was
got to moving on it.
we recorded it during the COVID lockdown, so
Mhm.
we could concentrate and really we had nothing else going on, so we were able to really put it all together.
You know, COVID was it certainly was a blessing for ASKA in the sense that, you know, Cloven Hoof that I was still in at the time, you know, when COVID hit. We had all kinds of plans. There was a cruise ship booked, and there was more festivals booked in Europe, and more shows, and all this stuff that was going to keep me busy. And when COVID hit, clearly all that stuff went away. So, and there was, you know, no more tours, no more shows, no more, you know. And since they were in England, I was in America. You know, here we were. Well,
Sort of closed the door a little bit.
You know, I've never officially been let go from Cloven Hoof.
I didn't think you had, yeah.
Nor have I officially been let go of Omen. I mean, it's pretty clear I'm not, you know.
Yeah.
But,
I remember that when George left Omen, I was like, I don't think Danny left. So I was right about that.
you know, Lee sends me a message almost every day on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a tour date, group shows, and
Please, it's not that. Fuck it.
they already got it. They already got it, boy. But you know what, Danny, you weren't officially. You say you weren't officially let go, but I think when 2 albums appeared without you on the drums, I mean that's.
Well, I kind of got the hint.
But you were still the U.S. tour drummer, it said.
Yeah,
I
but it
believe, on one
wasn't-
of those albums.
It was all financial, though. It wasn't anything to do with.
No, it wasn't at all.
Clearly, but it's like this, man. If you if your girlfriend never breaks up with you, but you see her out with another guy,
You're
it
out.
doesn't mean that you officially broke up. You were broken up, bro.
Yeah, but
yeah, it doesn't. You don't need a note. There doesn't have to be a handwritten notice.
But what happens if they go into the U.S. tour and they call Danny? There you go.
oh, that's been approached.
There you
That's
go.
been approached many times. Yeah,
All
they've
the
asked him
time.
to do it. All the time they ask him to do it because, in fact, have you heard the term log rolling?
Log rolling?
Yeah, where like you're standing on the log, like those cartoons where the guy's on the log on the river and he keeps walking and walking and walking on the log, but you're not going anywhere. You're not moving. You're just doing this to keep afloat, right?
That's called a lumberjack.
No, it's not a lumberjack. But you're walking on that log and not going anywhere. And I think unfortunately, and not to, maybe I'm wrong, Danny, and hopefully not, but I think that this is what Lee does with you. He keeps you on the log. He keeps you walking on the log. Oh yeah,
Oh,
Johnny.
no. I'm not under any interpretation of it. I know.
You're not under any illusion. But yeah, I think he does that to, so he can have a foothold.
he keeps in good with me because he doesn't want to close the door to the U.S.
Right.
There
And
you
he keeps
go.
it good with Scott, too. Because Scott booked all the Cloven Hoof North American tours. 3
Absolutely.
North American tours for Cloven Hoof.
Hey, I gotta truly say, I have no ill feelings at all with Cloven Hoof. Omen might be a different story, but
I have
he's
no ill feelings either. I
no.
don't.
You actually left. You left on your own. I don't know what happened with Omen.
We had a great time with Cloven Hoof.
Yeah, definitely, and 3 great albums with Cloven Hoof. Excellent albums.
Me with one, and actually traveling so much with Omen. I mean, we had a good time with Omen. I mean, it was a lot more difficult, but it
Oh
was
yeah, well
really good
yeah. Kenny was crazy. That's
we got to see things that we wanted to see, and we got to see a lot of things we didn't want to see, but we got
yeah.
to see.
That was a pretty interesting times, I think, with old Kenny Pal.
They tell you sometimes don't meet your heroes, right? They say that.
That is true. I've learned that personally.
Yeah.
It's not always
And
what
that-
it seems.
I was, as a high schooler, I was a fan. In high school, I was a fan of both Omen and Cloven Hoof. I was a metalhead, so I was in
Yeah, as
Venom.
was I. I was
the
when both of y'all joined both bands, I was like, this is just really cool, man. I was excited.
And it was like, whereas Danny joined Omen and Cloven Hoof, never really being a fan or knowing of them, he just got the gig because he was a good drummer.
Yeah.
Well, me, I was a fan of these bands. I had albums by these bands. And so for me, it was like, wow, I was had the starstruck, whereas Danny wasn't.
I remember
And,
running down the
I was
wall,
in the
yeah,
band
from
before
back
I
in the
knew any of
day.
their songs. I was in the band before I knew any of their songs.
Really?
First time I heard them was whenever I had to learn them, except for Omen.
Yeah.
George played Cloven Hoof, and I said, "Good, who is this?" And it was Cloven Hoof. And then we did Sore Brothers filling in, played a few songs with them, and then we wound up being in the band.
All right, so I was in the
yeah.
Danny, how familiar was you with ASKA when you joined as far as the songs? Because I remember when you first joined, it seemed like you were just boom right there and you knew everything in the book. That's going back a long way, but I remember them first shows.
Didn't we did, how long was I in the band, George? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Oh, we played a show? Yeah, pretty quickly.
I know y'all had auditioned so many drummers, and then I think you told me, George, we got our drummer. I'm like, well, who is he? He says, when you see him, you're going to know. And I'm like, okay. And yeah, you were just there, Danny. When you hit, it was perfect. After all those auditions, you were the perfect fit.
We had a lengthy audition process for drummers. We tried out.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody and their brother in this town. And it wasn't until Danny walked in that I was just like, oh, it's done. Where the search is over because this is the guy. I mean, he's got the chops. He was the only guy that could emulate Jason's licks and then some and play with power and finesse. And
I think we played 3 songs.
Yeah.
3 songs in.
Before I said,
that's it. That's what you did.
You're hired.
It was funny too because our policy was that we weren't making any decisions on the spot. We would try somebody out and then sleep on it, discuss it among ourselves, and then allow the next people to come in and stuff, right? So and that way we didn't hurt anybody's feelings. They didn't go home, whether they got it or not. We were going to talk about it afterwards. But in Danny's case, we tried out so many guys, and there were some,
Well, there was the drummer from Daryl's old band. What was his name?
Pat.
Pat. Yeah, I think he was telling everybody he was in ASKA, and yeah,
he was, but he wasn't.
Yeah,
he wasn't
exactly.
He was telling people that, but no, we hadn't selected him yet.
Yeah, no, that would have been a disaster. I'm afraid. I don't even know where that guy's at. So, no offense to him wherever he is.
He's got to go.
See you later, Don.
Hey, what's
Hi.
up? Danny? What up, Danny?
What's up?
Oh, just Working all day, fixing to go.
Masturbate.
Yeah.
No, he's fixing to go jam. I don't know what you're gonna do. Got stuff he's got to do, man.
But
So-
good to see you. I'll see you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
All right.
Later,
We'll just
man.
cover
Have a good one.
Absolute Power and Avenger real quick because those are like your two iconic records. So that would be like
Well,
an entire
Avenger-
episode.
Avenger is iconic too. Everybody loves Avenger. In fact, in
It is.
Europe, everybody, that's the one they compare everything to, you know, before, after, or since, or in the future. They will, all things will be compared to Avenger.
It will. You're right about that.
So, but anyway, but you asked what
I
you,
think that's when George discovered his voice.
I agree. Especially on Crown of Thorns. That was where I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I didn't know
Well,
George could do that.
Leather too.
Leather too. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
true. And
It was a-
Valkyries,
you know,
that's another favorite. And I love the way y'all do it with Keith now. Because that was originally Darren, I think, that was doing those the singing on Valkyrie, was it not?
it was me and Darren were
Yeah. And Keith fits it perfect.
Yeah.
You know, when you say about me discovering my voice, that's very true because up until before that point, I never considered myself a vocalist. I was a vocalist by necessity because
Yes.
we couldn't find good vocalists that would
You
stick.
told me that a lot years ago, and I was always like, you got to be kidding.
Yeah, no, I was a background singer. I had a concept, you know, I could carry notes, but I never felt I was really good. I was good for background vocals, but through necessity, when we could, you know, we had singers coming in trying to dictate terms of how the band was going to be. You know, a lot of singers get this prima donna attitude, where
I
you know, I'm the band, I'm better than anybody. It's like, dude, you're just one of the guys, and you can't. I mean, and bands will make a lot of concessions for a good singer. They'll make a lot of concessions, but you know, sometimes there comes a point where the line gets pushed and it's too far. It's a bridge too far, and we're like, nah, man, let's not do that. So,
well, that happened with the Abbott brothers with Phil. Honestly,
it happened with a lot.
He fucking kidnapped that band.
Well, I'll tell you a story. You know, whenever I was approached by George, you know, I had been given offers of playing, and I didn't really find anything that I wanted to do. You know, I told myself, I said, look, it's got to be something that I really want to do, or I'd be happier staying home playing with records. You know, so. Huh? Yeah. So a buddy of mine told me he gave my number to somebody, and then the next thing I know, George contacted me and said he was going to send me some songs and see if I was interested. And I listened to it, and immediately I was struck by it. I said, I love this stuff. I want to do this. And it was George's voice, but it was Crown of Thorns. The first time I heard Crown of Thorns, I just fell in love with it. And that's the reason why I wound up auditioning for ASKA. It's because of George's voice and the music. You know, so.
That's a good note. Yeah, Crown of Thorns is another sort of like Kill a Chandra, just an iconic ASKA song.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And I loved, you know, I was always, as a teenager, I loved the movie Excalibur, and so I thought, man, this will be a great song for that, because that speech that Lancelot gives King Arthur at the Battle of the Bridge there, to me, it's iconic, and it's iconic as a part of the film, but also if you hear what he's talking about, you know, I put all that I still within this metal skin. So it's like, man, not only does that speak to the whole King Arthur legend, but it also, if you take it in another context, in a double entendre sort of way, it speaks to being a metalhead. You know,
it does. You're right about that.
To this music, to the metal, to the this style, and I give all that I own, to within this metal skin, muscle, bone, blood, and the heart that pumps it. It's for metal. You know, I mean, it's like so
a lot of Manowar there, because I know me and you both are huge Manowar fans.
Big time to this day. I know a lot of people like to ridicule them these days.
I don't know why they do, but
I don't either. They do that with Kiss. They do, they always do that with successful bands.
They do.
People like to put fun at them and bands that did well. But for me, I mean, they'll always have a place in my heart. And I love Ross the Boss, and
I do too.
and
Ross is great. I wish
You
he was
know,
still in Manowar, but
tell you
No.
a story. You know, we became friends with Rhino, the drummer for Manowar.
I
You know,
like Rhino. Yeah.
and
Hey.
he heard Valhalla, and he said that Valhalla was more Manowar than Manowar's been.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last few years, I love Manowar, but they have kind of went into the kind of a hole. You know, the one guitar player got thrown in prison for pornography, child pornography, and
Oh, yeah, the long haired, red haired
yeah,
guy.
Logan, I think his name was something.
Colgan. His name's Colgan.
Yeah, not
Is that
he
your
was.
name, Paul?
I know. I don't claim it. I don't claim him.
I just saw Rhino. I just saw Rhino at the last NAMM show.
Rhino's a damn good drummer.
Yeah, I took him over to Boss for Symbols. I introduced him to the guys, and I don't know if they got it all worked out and everything, but they were wanting him. But anyway, he sat down and he started playing for him, and everybody was standing around with their jaw dropped.
Oh yeah,
He's amazing.
he might have been the best drummer Manowar had, honestly.
I think so.
So that was, but yeah. So Avenger was you know, just
That
it
was
was
the album that really put y'all into a sphere, is what I would call
it
it.
is because that's the album that we listened to what the criticisms were in the press about our music, and it was that we were too diverse. Isn't it funny now? Because everybody now is like, oh, we need diversity, 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 but they really don't.
Y'all preached it and
We
y'all
and
got
we,
lit. Yeah.
we
That's
had
what I was
abandoned
talking about,
diversity. We were,
different styles of music.
yeah, well, we were too diverse, and then we went to. So we just said, okay, let's 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 rail it all into. Let's bring it all to where it sounds like one band, one like all these songs should come from one band instead of a instead of a showcasing of all of our influences.
And I still think this is the one that did it the best. This is my favorite ASKA album right here.
Absolute Power, I love that record, and that was a continuation of Avenger. And of course,
It was, yeah.
It cost us Darren though, because Darren wanted to continue to do pop and things that were more in his heart, and we were now doing more of the kind of stuff that I was writing, and the stuff that Keith was leaning towards, and so you've heard that saying that which wolf wins in your head is the one that you feed the most, right? There's a wolf called love, and there's a wolf called hate. Well, in our band, we had a wolf called pop, and
Y'all
more
did.
commercial. Wolf called a bit heavier, but maintaining melodic ideas that are still commercial style. And we fed that. Well, we ended up making a band decision to just go with me, get rid of the three singers, just let me.
Oh, we locked up.
Uh-oh, we locked up on George.
Uh-oh, you locked up on me.
Yeah, you're back
I
now.
can hear you guys.
Yeah, you're back.
Your picture's staying still though.
Okay, am I back?
Yeah, you're a
Am I
little
back?
choppy,
Hello?
but we can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
okay.
Now
All right, good.
you're smiling.
That's good. Get him with a smile.
Yeah.
Eat them and smile. But no, yeah, it was, it was just a good thing for the band to go in that direction, and certainly it was never our intent to just say, okay, nobody else will ever sing again. Only George can sing, because as you may know, on the new record, Keith sings a song.
Yeah, and it's good too.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I remember even then y'all were doing like vigilante during the shows, and Keith was still singing.
We'll be doing it again eventually.
Yeah, so
it's not like Keith was ever silenced. He was still, he was still singing live.
Absolutely. And it was just we just had to establish ourselves, and then we could go to kind of get back to do whatever we wanted. And now I hope to, certainly for our next album, the album that follows Knightstrike, I hope to have another Keith or song or two on there where he's vocalizing it if we can make it happen. Of course the song has to be good. It has to be great material. We don't just want him to sing a song. Just okay, you sing one, even if it's substandard. We want him to sing something good. But I would love to have it's part of it's what makes ASKA ASKA. It's what
it does. It does.
Sound. I mean, Keith has been singing since the band's first album. So he sang on the first, he sang on the second, he sang on the third, and he didn't sing on the next three. But you hear his voice on Fire Eater. He narrates one of the songs there. The last
Fire Eater would be our next in the line here too.
I've noticed Keith's harmonies are getting more pronounced too.
They are. I agree.
So Fire Eater was Danny's first official full album with the band. Even though he appeared on Absolute Power, which was the album prior, his first full album was Fire Eater. Unfortunately, what's his name? Daryl left the band, and Chris Manford joined us on guitar from France. He is a Frenchman.
Yes, Chris has actually been on our show before, so
Chris is a great guy, and
Chris is a really good guy. He's a sweetheart.
Even though we're not all together or anything, there's certain people that are still part
and
of
Chris is definitely part of the family for sure.
He's definitely ASKA. Chris, he'll always be.
Yeah, love Chris to death.
Yeah, we've seen him at the Texas Frightmare.
We did, yeah. We took a picture with Chris.
He's all about that. And Chris messaged me the other day, and he goes, "Hey, brother, I have written a new song. I will send it to you very soon." So he keeps in touch. And,
yeah, Chris is never going to go away. He'll always be a part in some way.
Well, I love that album he put out, man. That's a good album.
Oh, are you talking about Discorporate?
Yeah, that's a great album.
I heard
he's a great player. That's why we brought him in. We brought him in because he's a great player,
He sent us a new song he did that was that used what's a Middle Eastern instrument? I forgot what it's called.
Sitar. He's got some sitar on there.
Yeah, it sounded pretty good for what I heard.
Oh, Natalie, yes. But anyway,
Chris definitely throws in some of the Yinghui sounds on this album.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a great player, man. He's a good player. He did a good job,
But I think I was you took my message from Facebook when I said that the new album is a lot better than Fire Eater, and it take nothing away from Fire Eater. It's a good album. It just Dead Again is another. It's just an iconic ASKA song for sure. It's got that ASKA feel to it, just right in there.
I love that song, and the video's fucking awesome.
The video is fucking awesome.
Well, here's what we'll say about the official line, and I know Keith feels the exact same way. With Fire Eater, it was a good album, great songs, but it just wasn't focused.
It wasn't focused. No,
it was a little bit too all over the place. And initially, when we started Fire Eater, it was going to be we're going to just do a quickie revisit some of the.
I remember that. Yeah, y'all were going to do. It was going to be like an EP, was it not?
An EP with just some of the older songs reimagined. For example, Harlot of Eden, which was Could You Do This to Me reimagined.
Yeah, it's definitely a reimagine.
Yeah, and Angela was like a Kilashonda reimagined.
It was, yeah.
So it was these kind of things, and then we just decided let's just do an album. Let's just do we're just deep into it. Let's finish the album. Let's just do it. Let's do a record
song. Red Cell, I still play to this day. That song is fucking epic right there.
Yeah, that was one I wrote with Alejandro Rasmussen from Panama, and he did a fantastic job on that. He played, all the guitars.
Those still those highs George did on the vocals are just amazing to me.
They are amazing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But yeah, so that was the problem with Fire Eaters. It was a little bit disjointed. Though it was a good album.
Well, and the band was going through a lot of changes. Like you said, Daryl had left, and Keith, I think, left right after the album came out. So, sort of a disjointed period for ASKA.
It was. At that point, it was. I mean, I had to do a lot of soul searching. Man, should we even continue the band?
I
And
remember Danny telling me somewhere, he's like, as long as me and George are here, ASKA's never going down. Danny was true to the ASKA flame to the end there.
And unfortunately, Keith had other things he had to do, or he would have been included too.
Exactly. Like I said, I think Keith needed a good break, and he got it. And now it's like he never left again.
But I'm glad he left after the album was recorded.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Managed to maintain.
Unlike some people who just disappear and never heard from again.
It's so weird.
Record something and then disappear.
And such an excellent job on it too. I mean, he did a great job, and that takes us to our current day, which is Knightstrike, the latest ASKA album.
Yes.
Yes, and let's let I was gonna say, well, yeah, go ahead. Knightstrike. It's
Brett, you want to jump in on this a bit?
I love this album, man.
Thank you.
It's absolutely great. Yeah, it's great. When I first, the night I got it from the show, because I didn't pre-order it, I wanted to actually buy it at the show, which I have these weird, back to the past. That's wanted to hear this thing. I know you played me a few tracks over the years, I think when y'all were recording it, but I wanted to hear it fresh right from the CD, and it blew me away. It really did.
I even got my CD player in my truck fixed just so I could listen.
He did. Brett got his CD player fixed because I want to hear this thing.
Keith, Keith, George produced it, and Keith, and Keith, but Keith recorded it, and it was, Keith just did such an amazing job.
Did he do it at his studio that he just built? Is that where he?
Well, but not at that one. We didn't record it there. We recorded it the one before, because Keith's studio has always been very mobile, and wherever he's living, he sets up shop. So we actually recorded it at a house that he thought he was going to be living in for a lot longer, and then they sold the house.
Yeah.
You guys want to do something special?
Brett does. Look at that, Brett. Oh, man.
Puffy fucking nipples. Oh, my fucking God.
You made me snort. You made me snort.
We just set up and we just took time, and we were kind of it was kind of funny because normally traffic's really bad getting over there, and there was nobody on the roads at all
during COVID.
Yeah, it was so easy to go in and out, and it just we did it, and we got the tracks done actually pretty quick.
Yeah. It really came together, and the band was gelling. We were at 100%. Everybody was,
And that was only the opening act. There's still more.
Uh-oh, Brett.
No.
I'm not going there right now.
Oh my God, that's funny.
We're gonna get kicked off fucking YouTube. I swear to God.
Well, you got us kicked off for talking about. Brett got us kicked off once.
Yeah,
What?
I did. I reviewed the band Carnivore.
It was Carnivore. Carnivore album got us kicked off for like a minute
because the album covers a vagina with teeth,
and he told the truth.
The only travesty of the whole thing was, do you realize that we got Eric in the band? How long, George? 2 weeks after we sent the artwork away?
Yeah.
That is a travesty. I would love Eric to be on the album.
He would have been on it,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll tell you, even though Eric, he missed all the deadlines and stuff for the new album, but we still, at least we managed to get his name in there on the thanks list at the very. We managed to stick him in there.
He's at the very end. I see that. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. The stuff he's played with this off the new album is spot on. It fits in perfectly.
And not only that, but Eric, even though he's only been in the band now for a few months, He's already sent me numerous ideas for songs and whatnot. We can let Eric, talk to Eric since he's, kind of been sitting there with nothing to say because of all the history stuff. But go ahead and ask him some questions about those songs and about when he met ASKA for the first time and how he joined the band and all that stuff, because I'm sure he's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it, new guy.
Yeah, everybody wants to hear how you got here, because you definitely got a good history behind you. We know that.
All right. Well, am I on the screen? Because the little yellow box isn't showing up.
You're on the screen right now.
All right. So yeah, I met the guys back probably the mid '90s. My band at the time was Zelot Z, and we came up here. We were playing at the Rock, and Louis said, "Oh, I want to put you on with this other real good band here, ASKA. I want to do a show with you guys together." So yeah, we did the show, and it was a great night, and I still remember some details. I think they opened the show at Detroit Rock City, and just some other random things about the night. But so I've known the guys for a long time. I mean, 30 years. We weren't like in touch every day, but I've known of the band and been aware of their various things over the years. I'm learning a lot today, actually, just from listening to
us, yeah.
To the stories. I didn't know, a lot of this stuff or hear a lot of this stuff, but yeah, I've had my own path. I was in Hellstar. I was a touring member for several years.
Yeah, Hellstars. I love Hell. That's one of my favorite bands from Texas.
Yeah, James and I, we did some cover projects, and then he got me into Destiny's End the last year of the band. Unfortunately, then it split up, and he reformed Hellstar, of which then I became a touring member with, and we did one album during that time. The name of the band was Distant Thunder, which was also a Hellstar. It was a nod to the Hellstar album of that name. And beyond that, yeah, so Zelot Z kind of finished around 2000. And we had some other projects start and stop that didn't go very far. I was in Leatherwolf for like a year and played played some tracks on the World Asylum album. And it was kind of funny. Earlier, Danny was talking about how he got into ASKA, and it was almost a similar thing for me with Leatherwolf, that James was actually auditioning for them, and he said, "Oh, they're looking for a guitar player." So I recorded a couple of things and sent it in, and they're like, "Okay, you're in the band." Just like boom, just like that. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, around Christmas time last year, I saw on Facebook that ASKA was playing. I'm friends with George on Facebook, and posted pictures of a gig. It was like a 3-piece gig, which I thought
it was weird. They did a couple 3-piece gigs.
Yeah, and I just happened to notice it, and I saw somebody commented to George about, "Hey, are you guys a 3-piece now, or what's going on?" And he said, "No, we're looking for the right guitar player, and we're taking our time and looking." So I sent him a message, and I just said, "Hey, I'd like to audition." And a couple days later, Keith sent me some tracks, and also kind of funny, like what Danny said, Crown of Thorns was the second track I heard, and I just really drew me in. The first one was Angels of War, and then Crown of Thorns, and I just, between those two songs, it just felt very felt at home to me, I guess is the best way I could say it. Just really a lot of the same kind of influences and style that I've done and I've loved over the years. And so, I learned a few songs and came up and did an audition with the guys. And I think it went pretty well. It felt pretty tight right off the bat. I guess they were probably a little hesitant of me living in Houston, because they had another previous guitar player that came from Houston that didn't.
I remember that. Yeah.
Things didn't go so good with him, but anyway, I came back from a second audition, and I think we played 2 songs, and George just said, "Oh, just, man, you're if you want it, you're in." That was it. And that's kind of how it went from there. We had the first show, we rehearsed a couple more times. I think we had one rehearsal, George was late, and we were playing the song from the new album, and he said, "Oh, were you guys playing the new album?" Like he thought we were playing the CD, but we were actually playing the music. The band was playing, He said, "Oh, I heard it from outside. I thought you guys were playing the CD." So it just, gelled together real quick and has come together. Feels very tight and very natural playing with those guys. And so here we are a few months later, getting ready to do our third gig.
We pretty much knew that he was going to be in after the
Eric
first
was the
time
guy.
it came up. Yeah.
Well, you did a great job when we seen you live there at Jay Gilligan's that first night. So, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate
really
it. It was a little bit of pressure, but I tried not to sweat it too much. I think it went pretty well.
It did. It went great. I was really, really happy.
And we've just been getting tighter, since then. George and I have been able to work out some of the more intricate guitar harmonies and some of the things that they do live, the way they connect songs and some of the things like that, the show part of it. We've just been continuing to improve on that, and yeah, it's been going great. Everybody's welcomed me, like you guys, all the fans. It's been nice. Like you said earlier, welcome to the family. And it's kind of been like that where, you get married to someone new and all their family just welcomes you with open arms, and so that's great.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about that, Daryl Norton and George had such a connection with the guitars, and I don't think ASKA's had that since Daryl left. And I think, Eric, you will bring that back. I could just tell from that first show, like you said, y'all already starting to gel.
Yeah, and Eric, I agree with you. Eric is very reminiscent of how consistent Daryl was.
Yeah. So I look forward to what y'all become. And hopefully we get more albums and not have to wait 10, 20 years like we've been known to wait for ASKA
I have
albums.
some material, over the
That's
years.
That's what you said, yeah.
Yeah, so, some of it's older, some of it's a little newer, some of it just I came up with yesterday and sent the guys some stuff and say, hey, what do you like? What do you think would fit? George, what inspires you to sing a melody? And, we'll just go through the stuff and see what works into the band,
Awesome.
That sounds great, yeah. But Knightstrike is definitely, there is not a weak song on this album at all.
No, there's not.
Nothing. Nothing.
That's what I really like. I really like the lineup of the album too. It just seems to fit. And really, for me, the sleeper of the whole record is The Lie.
Yes.
Show you guys money over here.
What are you eating, dinner?
I'm having some dinner.
He's got salad.
I don't know.
And Danny, I love that picture. If you can see it there, you look like Jesus.
One?
Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
The one with the flat head.
Yeah, Danny. It's Danny White Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah.
Danny's got specs on, huh? You got your spectacles on there, huh, Danny?
Yeah, I want to be able to see the screen.
The sun went down. He ain't got stripes on his face no more through the
That's true. Your stripes went away. But really good artwork too. Y'all did a
it is.
I can't wait for some t-shirts with the album cover.
Oh yes, the t-shirts are actually being printed at a shop where my friend works, just Small World, and we'll have them there at the show.
Oh,
next
great.
show.
That's awesome.
Hey, we might need a hookup for that.
Yeah, we just actually got our first professional shirts printed. First run for the Evil Never Dies podcast. And
I want one of those.
They look really, we did them in just white. This is the original shirt, we've spiced up over the years, but we did it all in white. And
white and
actually black and white. And there was an ASKA t-shirt y'all did a few years ago that was all black and white. And it sort of reminds me of that shirt. Very good look.
Eric, make sure you get the extra small shirt for me.
Yeah.
Okay. The woman's one. Okay.
Yeah, the one with the little straps.
Baby T. Yeah.
Spaghetti straps.
Yeah, Danny likes spaghetti straps.
Yeah.
Brett needs what size you wear, Brett?
I wear a 2X, god damn it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Real men wear 2X.
Danny looks like he wears a 2X.
I'm a 2X.
Okay. What about you, Eric? Large, extra large?
I try to squeeze into a medium when I can.
A medium, okay. I'll bring you a large.
I think George is a medium.
We'll bring you all a shirt at the show, okay? How's
Yeah,
that?
we can bring you.
What you eating, George? Steak?
No, chicken. Very good. Very good. Now
Did Scott cook that?
No, Scott's wife cooked it.
Okay. You're safe then, I think.
It looks good.
Natalie, this is Scott's wife. This is Mrs. Glue. Natalie McGoy.
Hello.
She's a very young
Hello.
woman, talented, all manner of skills cooking meals like this.
Oh, is it trick?
See, let me show you. Got cucumber salad with the tomatoes and
That
stuff.
looks great. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
hungry.
making me hungry, man.
Looks really
Stop
good.
it.
Is that
Chicken
the first time?
Kalamata olive.
So I think,
Really good.
Carl, we should have her ghost remains at the next show, I believe. Is that correct, Eric?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes. It'll be ready.
Okay.
Perfect.
George and I send
Working in
recordings
part-time.
back and forth of guitar parts. George and I send recordings back and forth to make sure I'm doing the parts right.
There's a
We're working
Kalamata.
on more songs. I'm personally waiting for Legion to come back.
Yeah, Legion's a good song. Y'all do need to bring Legion back.
One entertainment.
You were running in the bed and showing his butt.
Oh my God.
Don't let Brett see.
What?
He's showing his butt.
Is that the first time anybody's eaten dinner on the podcast?
Yeah.
Probably. I might have. Maybe.
Mine's actually getting cold in there.
Oh
Oh,
no.
no.
I cooked barbecue ribs on the grill.
Ooh.
If you got hit me up to do a show, I'll put on a major display.
Barbecue.
We're gonna hook you up, Scott. I'm gonna get with you.
Smoked ribs. I got barbecue sausage.
God dang,
Yeah,
you're all making me hungry.
I know, man. I'm starving. I ain't had nothing since breakfast, so.
Guys, I'll tell you, we can wind it down. But let me say this before we go. I think we're very happy to have Eric in the band. Like I said, in the show, Eric is a very well pedigreed, very well known player throughout the Texas scene. He plays in a lot of tribute bands and has been in original bands and touring band. He's done all that stuff that we've done. He's done it before us, independently of us. So it's only natural that
It's a perfect fit. Yeah.
You know, for me, what is so easy about having Eric is that, you know, when you get certain people in, you're wondering, are they going to be able to handle this if we have to travel? Are we going to be able to do this? Are they going to be consistent live? Are they going to be doing this? With Eric, we had none of those problems because, as George just said, Eric's already done it. So that part of it, we already knew there was no question about it. It was just whether he was going to fit with us, you know.
Just
and
clash
gel with us.
personality. Yeah.
And after the first time we played with him, it was obvious he was going to. So we're all thrilled to have Eric. So,
Well, it's not often you find that either, you know.
yeah, yeah.
And the more, you know, the more y'all play, the more it's going to mold.
That's why we took our time looking.
I think once we get to do an album together, because I kind of feel bad for Eric coming in at this point because we already had this album done by the time he came along. So there was
brand new album. He just that's true.
Yeah, there was nothing for him to add to or because it was basically done. But you know, and you know, of course, who leaves a band when you put in all the work to do an album and then just leave? It seems kind of silly, but it happened. We got Eric. We're thankful for that, and we're very happy with the way this new record turned out.
It's definitely it's great. I'm just telling you, there's not a weak song on this album.
Thank you.
I think
All right.
everybody was real creative. We came along pretty well. I mean, with how fast we got it done. And again, I can't say anything more about the production that George and Keith did on this record.
Yeah, you guys did a really good job on the mixing and stuff. It
Yeah,
sounds
that might be the best
awesome.
mixed ASKA album y'all have ever done.
I mean,
what? Danny's being very humble right now because Danny he played a hand he was an assistant producer. I think you're even credited as such as well because he had a hand in how the thing ended up sounding as well. We all three were
co-produced by Danny White. You're on there, Danny.
we were all very much involved in a part of the process. You know, like in some bands, you get some guys will show up, they'll record, they'll lay down their part, and they go home. They go to a card game like Ace Frehley or whatever. They're done. They don't care. In this band, everybody was emotionally involved in the project.
100% involved.
100% involved. And where we were there to, okay, make it sound like this, do this, add this, let's change this, let's add this. Everybody was in there. All of our hands were in the, at least me, Keith, and Danny were all in, you know.
We were there, and I came in and I had a fresh set of ears. So I heard a couple of things that because they had heard so much of it, I said, what about this? And it just so happens it really worked well. So that's pretty much, I just had a fresh set of ears. What?
Yeah, you had a fresh set of ears and a fresh set of diapers.
Yeah.
Don't we all need a fresh pair of diapers?
We do.
Biden does.
Biden does.
Oh, shit.
I think that this is a laid back interview. We're all friends, so but we're real happy with the new record.
I'm really happy with it too. I think it sounds great. You guys did a great job.
We got it on CD and we got it on vinyl, but a lot of people are asking, when is this going to come on streaming or on Apple Music or iTunes?
You can buy downloads for it right now at the website.
There you go. Okay, that answers a lot of questions.
Okay,
you go and that's at www. I don't even need to say that, right? It's askahq.com/merch.
Okay.
So we will have a new T-shirt, like Eric was saying, at the show on July 20th in 2 weeks at J. Gilligan's in Arlington, and which all people can also mail order it online. You can buy downloads, so you can play digital tracks, wherever, Bluetooth, and stream it, whatever. And you can do that at AskahQ. And of course, and then eventually we'll put it to tunes and all that stuff. The problem is once we do it there, then Spotify gets it and everybody starts streaming there, and it's like
Spotify is the devil. I hate Spotify.
They don't pay. They just don't pay.
Yeah,
they don't pay nobody shit.
no.
So we'll be doing more songs off the new record too. It's just so we didn't want to overload Eric.
That makes sense.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear some of these songs live.
Yeah, I know.
What would you like to
Are
hear?
Are you going to do the Opus Lie? I think the Lie is that's probably my favorite song on the album for sure.
You know what I like
that was
is
a bear.
That
was a bear for me to record. I'll be honest, that was a bear.
I bet, yeah.
That was like
yeah, what is it, like 9 minutes long?
I mean, and that was all me playing it. That was not manipulated. That was all me playing
straight through, huh?
At that timing. And it was very difficult. Even though it's an easy beat, it was very difficult to keep that timing, you know.
Well, I think that's your guys' Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner for sure.
Yeah, Brett told me that a few weeks ago.
We appreciate it. We're glad that it's had impact. You know, I was pleasantly surprised.
You're leaving a Kalamata olive behind.
I was pleasantly surprised that song got the attention, because it was you know, it was a very dirgy type track, you know, very, but you know, which clearly picks up later in the song. I thought the story was so powerful,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it is.
performances are just incredible on it. And it was, I mean, I was just real happy with the way the whole record turned out, and looking forward to just doing more. I'm glad everybody's liking it. I want everybody to get a copy if they can. Our autographs are always free at the show. You can always come to the show and get your stuff signed for free.
Absolutely.
But not everybody, lives close to us or can make a show. So for those people, if they want their stuff signed, there's an option to buy the albums or whatever signed online. So that's a cool, nice little thing that we decided to offer for the bands. But not to be confused with those bands that try to charge you at the show.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, it's going to cost you an extra $20. No, man, we'll never charge you at a show to sign something.
Well, unlike Brett charges $50 to sign an autograph. He does.
Did you see Trump the other day? He was signing autographs, and he goes, every time he'd sign one, he'd go, here, sell this. You get $1,000 on eBay tomorrow. Here, sign this. I signed it for you. You get $1,000 on eBay. He was just consistently throwing them out. It's funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, I personally can't wait until Love in Oblivion gets released.
That's what I was about to say. That's my favorite song, I do believe.
I think that one's
lyrically, that is genius. And of course, I know the story, George. So, I kind of have an inside to it, and I can relate to that story as well.
If there's any that could be on the radio, it's that one.
Yep.
Cassidy.
Now, Soul Stealer would be a great radio song too.
Yeah, it would.
And of course, George's son, he directed the video.
Yeah, Aiden did a great job.
He did.
He did. He was quite impressive. And
very impressive.
It's real interesting because after that, my son and the girl in the video went on to do a commercial together for Texaco. Have you guys seen that?
I did see that. Yeah.
So it's like we're kind of hoping that any attention that people see them on Texaco, hey, is that the same couple in the ASKA video, or in that Texaco video, or vice versa? But I mean, what are the odds of that a couple that you see in a rock music video
end up in a commercial for a major oil company, a gas station,
worldwide?
Yeah.
They've got a spot and a 15-second spot versions of that same commercial, and they both appear in the video, and that's quite incredible.
Yeah.
Well, didn't he start his own production company too?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they've been to his company's worked all over the world so far. They've had shoots in Dubai and Jamaica. This summer they're going to Hawaii. And of course all over the US as well, and I think Canada. So yeah, they're kind of an international corporation there, doing video, voiceovers, commercials, events, weddings, whatever it is. They're called Surge Films, music videos. And they just do a really good job. And if anybody wants to look into their work, look at Surge.
We'll put a link to that too.
Has he thought about doing like any documentary or anything like that?
Have we thought about that? No, that'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it?
Because I got ideas.
Yeah, doing the podcast has really brought the ideas out in Brett. It's been very impressive these last 3 years now that we've been doing this thing. And we just been a slow build, and now the YouTube is starting to take off better. So, we really hadn't promoted this much. We just sort of throw it out there.
You guys have the ideas. Who's got the financing? That's what I want to know.
I guess Video Bob.
There you go. If he wants to do one, if he wants to shadow us for a while and do the story of
he won't shadow nobody.
So we went to Rocklahoma with Video Bob, and he shot our video there.
I remember that. I don't know why I didn't go on that trip, but I was probably working.
I should have. We had a good time.
But one thing I wanted to note in So Stealer, it's sort of a Easter egg. I noticed y'all do have a second guitar player in that video. You see the guitar, but you don't see the person. So
Ah,
I caught that. So I'm thinking that must be Eric right there. So
well, you know what?
in my mind, he's in the video.
I think what you're seeing is because I played so many different guitars
Well,
on that video.
there's a second guitar in there, and it don't show you, it just shows the guitar. So
Mm,
I
it
think I caught it. I
probably
thought I
was
caught
me.
an Easter egg.
So you just playing a different guitar.
Yeah, it was just me playing a different guitar.
Well, it looked like you had another guitar player there. If you
If
got
we would
the
have had another one in there, it would have been Eric. You know, we would have put Eric,
exactly, yeah.
you know.
Unfortunately, Eric came in right after the fact, or he would have been there.
Just so you know, this is actually the third time that's happened to me. When I joined Destiny's End, they had an album in the can that wasn't released, but I got in that one in time. My picture was on the album, but the guitar player that left was credited. Then I joined Leatherwolf. They had the album mostly done, but I did get a few tracks on that one, and now this. So I'm used to it.
You're used to it.
You're in Leatherwool?
He was.
Yeah, for a year that Wade Black was the singer on the World Asylum album, and I was in it, around the time that Wade did. And then after a year, the original singer Michael Oliveri came back, and some of the original guys, they kind of reformed with more original members.
On Tone Deaf touring?
Yeah, I saw a video, Eric, of you banging your head with Leatherwolf.
Yeah, we had a music video for Behind the Gun, which is off that album. And then, yeah, Bang Your Head we played. And I think there was some video out there of that. Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah.
Tone Deaf Touring, the booking agency. And I thought I used to book for Tone Deaf Touring. And I could have sworn that I remembered Leatherwolf.
Yeah.
WULT or WULF.
It may be a different band. There's like a Power Wolf and some others, but they've toured a lot throughout the years. Of course, when I wasn't in the band, I mean, originally they were like a major label, Island Records.
Yeah, I remember Leatherwolf in the day. I had their second album, I believe, and I still like it. Actually, I'm still on my playlist in places.
Yeah, The Call, I think, made it to the Billboard 100. They were a pretty major band, and they broke up when they had some real good offers on the table.
Yeah, that's the first song I heard was The Call.
Yeah.
I saw a video back when I think it was MTV Headbangers Ball.
All right, so I must be thinking of a different band, and I just remember that there was a Leatherwolf on the roster of Tone Deaf Touring when I was booking there.
Huh. Something is stranger than true.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
I think that's we've covered the whole history of ASKA just in this one little episode, I think.
Yeah, we have. It's been a good show.
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess I had a little bit of insider information to help kind of push it in the right direction, but
Listen, man, it's been a pleasure. It's always good talking to you guys and seeing you guys, and we appreciate your love of the band, and we're very happy that you like the new record. And we look forward to getting out there doing more shows. We actually were just invited to go play a major festival.
Major festival where?
Germany. And we were invited to go play a major festival in Germany.
Which one?
HOA. But we'll talk about that stuff another day.
yeah. Future content.
Yeah, listen, it was real good to talk to you guys.
Always
Thank
good.
you. And I think this is a first for Eric. With ASKA, this is Eric's first official interview as a member of ASKA. So thank you for that. And I know Keith would have joined us if he could. He's doing some show downtown Fort Worth, I believe.
No, he's right down the road from us then.
Probably.
Brett lives like, what, 2 blocks from me.
Yeah.
So y'all are going to be at the Jay Gilligan show, right?
Oh, yeah. Actually, my granddaughter wants to go to that show.
Oh, there you go.
Sure.
Granddaughter. You don't even look old enough to have a granddaughter.
Yeah, we're old. We got granddaughters.
Oh, man.
I don't know if Gilligan's has age limits or not.
You're the perpetually youthful looking. Did you always look young? Did you look younger than you were when you were young?
I did. The beards made me look a little bit older.
Yeah, shave the beard. Carl looks 12.
Yeah, I'm keeping
Carl,
the beard.
I think they do actually on the bar side. On the restaurant side, I don't think they really enforce it that much. But on the bar side, I think there is.
Who wants to come, Carl? Ayla?
Ayla, she wants to come see ASKA.
She'd be the star of the show.
I think you have to be 21.
I think you're right, Danny.
No,
I'll
you know,
check and see.
No, it was because when we were playing there the last time, there was a guy that brought his son, and his son was clearly under 21, and he could, as long as you're there with a guardian.
Oh, okay.
I think you can get in. Yeah.
You should be.
So
good.
bring everyone. Bring everyone and then some.
We'll definitely do our best.
Jay Gilligan's is always a good show.
Yes, it is. And I'm so glad to get back to Jay Gilligan's because that was always my favorite place.
Are you going to blow up the sound system this time?
I think we got the same people. Too. I think we got the same people running the sound. But they didn't do a bad job. They did a pretty good job.
They did okay.
When I think of ASKA, I think of The Rock and Deep Ellum, Monte Carlos, and Jay Gilligan's. Because we had some hell of a shit in Monte Carlos over there with Dimebag and everybody.
Funny thing, going back, first part of the interview, I was on the cover of the Fort Worth Weekly with ASKA before I had played one show with them.
I've actually still got that Fort Worth Weekly in my stack of stuff.
I got that.
Yeah.
Did we get through the long?
Okay.
Good shit, brother. How's life treating you? Excellent.
It's all good. It's all good. I can talk to you guys. Yeah, we got more people here.
Followers.
Well, all right, guys.
We'll wrap it up.
We'll wrap it up. We'll let George eat the rest of his chicken.
I'm done.
Hey, you don't get in front of George and his chicken, man.
No. He also tears up some fajita meat. I remember we were somewhere eating one night and he ordered like an entire pile of fajita meat.
Well, we really appreciate you guys coming on. Everybody check out the new CD, or you can even get it on vinyl.
Or you can go
very good album. Probably my
ASKA
favorite
HQ
album.
merch and get the if you want the digital track.
Yep. We're going to post all the info in the show notes, so make sure and check that out.
Their YouTube page has got the awesome videos that they've put out. There's several for the album.
So thanks for coming on, guys. We really appreciate it.
We will see y'all in 2 weeks for sure.
Yeah, we'll see July 20th at Jay Gilligan's.
We'll be there.
Arlington, Texas. Everybody come out.
See you later, fellas. See you later, fellas.
All righty. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. And
you guys keep rocking. And yeah, Scott wants to do your interview.
Yeah, I've got him on Facebook. I'll send him a message.
All right, everybody.
This is season finale. We won't be doing a show next week because we'll be at the Texas Haunters Convention in Mesquite, Texas. So we're taking a week off, and we come back season 4. And somehow we're going to get a new theme song for the show.
Yeah. Can you guys come up with a theme song in 2 weeks?
Probably.
In 2 weeks, we'll have to let me talk to Keith and see if we'll figure something out. But do you have an idea like what you want the lyrics to be?
We just want an instrumental
just an instrumental.
Need.
Yeah, we're just gonna
something evil. We want evil.
Okay, something instrumental. Okay.
Something evilly instrumental.
Evil never dies. The evil never dies.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds great.
Everybody. We'll
All
talk
right.
to y'all later. Thanks for watching on the YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe. And we'll talk to you when we talk to you.
See you
Stay
later.
evil, everybody.
Bye.